Hey everybody, this is Brandon from Sparksmith, and today we're going to go over the installation of the grill bars that we have for the 03 to 07 Chevy Silverado with the split grill. Right now we have 5 different options for these, and I've got them laid out here. You've got your white only bar, which is going to come with a fuse tap and a ground. Then you've got your switchback, your animated startup with amber turn signal, and your animated startup with white turn signal. Now, all 3 of these are going to install the same way. They come with the same harness that is a direct plug and play installation. And then we also have the Showbar, which is generally the same installation. The harness looks a little bit different because it has some different features, but we'll go over each of these, the physical installation, and then we'll go over the wiring for each one. First, we'll take a look at how to do the physical installation, which is going to be the same for any of these options. Okay, once you get your grill removed, the physical installation is going to be the same for all 5 variations of the grill bar. The grill is fairly simple to remove. There's some plastic pop tabs at the top to get the plastic trim panel off, and then about 6 clips, and the grill will just pop right out. Once you remove it, on the back side of the bow tie, there's going to be 2 nuts right there. You just use a 10mm socket and get those guys off, and then the bow tie will come off. Then your next step is going to take the hardware bag that's included with all these kits and go through and just kind of get a feel for what all's there. You've got some stainless steel screws and washers and nuts, and the binding plate to join them together. You've got an Allen head bit so that you can run down the bolts that hold the 2 halves of the bar together. And then you've got some self-drilling screws that you can use for the resistors. So the first thing you want to do is take your bar and set it out. Take this plate, peel this little protective coating off of it. And there's 3 holes in each bar, and so you're going to want to take the plate, and it's going to mount to the innermost 2 holes of each bar. And you'll take each one of these screws and put one just straight onto the stainless plate. On the back side, you'll do a flat washer and one of these, the nylon insert lock nuts. So there's 6 of the nylon insert lock nuts. I'm going to start that on there. Have an 8mm wrench, and then if you've got a nut driver or you've got a power tool of some sort that can accept that, and then you'll run this down. Careful not to over tighten it, especially if you're using power tools. And then you repeat that process for the other 3 so that the whole thing looks like this. Okay, once you get all 4 of these installed, the bar should look something like this, where you've got 1 remaining hole in each bar, and that's the one that you're going to use to actually mount the bar to the grill. So moving to the grill, you're going to need a drill with an 1/8 inch drill bit, and you come over to the front side of the grill, and it's going to have these 2 rectangular slots. You can see this demo piece, we've already drilled the holes, but if you'll take your 1/8 inch drill bit and just kind of eyeball it, it doesn't have to be absolutely precise. Right about the center of each one, you're going to drill a hole in each one. Once you get that hole drilled, take these longer Phillips head screws and you'll run one into each of these holes. And with an 1/8 inch hole, you'll actually have to screw them in there a little bit, which is good because that'll help it kind of stay in place. And then on the back side, you want to put first a flat washer and one of the, if I can get it here, one of the nylon insert lock nuts. And then you'll run that all the way down with your Phillips head screwdriver, and your 8mm wrench. Okay, for the white only bar, you're gonna have two connections. You're gonna have a ground wire, and you're gonna have a fuse tap that will go to your fuse box. The ground wire, you can mount, these trucks all have this A-frame in front of the radiator. You can just undo that bolt right there, and you want to make sure that you've got some nice clean metal to work with on there. If it's not clean, you can take some sandpaper and scuff it up until you see shiny metal. And then you're going to want to take some dielectric grease and put just a dab of it on there to help prevent corrosion. And take your ring terminal, put it on, and reinstall the bolt. For the power, take your fuse tap and route it however you'd like. Try to stay away from the radiator and the intercooler. Route it kind of up behind the headlights, however you'd like it, just so it's out of the way of anything that gets hot and anything that moves. You're going to bring it over to your fuse box, and you're going to look for this one right here that's labeled IGNE. It's a 10 amp fuse, and in the fuse box it's going to be right here beside this gray relay. So take that 10 amp fuse right there and pull that guy out. This fuse has power anytime the key is turned on. So what you'll do is take your 10 amp fuse that you pulled out of here, install it in the lower slot of your fuse tap, and then that fuse tap goes back into the slot that you pulled the fuse out of. Now if you want, you can either just run it out of the fuse box like this, and the top of the cap of the fuse cover will kind of clamp down on it. You can be a little more detailed about it, and you can actually run this. If you're real OCD about your wiring like I am, you can actually run it up through the opening under here and take the time to get it looking more like a factory wiring solution, where it comes through this hole and it would come up out. If you look back in the fuse box here, there's like a cavity right there. You can actually get it to come up through there and then plug in. Anyway, however you prefer to do it, as long as it goes into this is the one we recommend, so that anytime you turn the key on, the bar will come on. And that's all there is to the white only bar. Next we'll look at the animated startup bars. Okay, if you've got the switchback bar, the animated startup with amber turn, or the animated startup with white turn, they're all going to come with this harness. So just undo the little twist tie, and this thing has 2 resistors on it and 3 input plugs and 2 output plugs. When you stretch it out, you can kind of lay it across your grill like this. Generally, we recommend the 2 of these that are closer together to be on the driver's side, and then the one that's by itself on the passenger side. So the 2 that are close together, one of them is a 3-wire and one of them is a 2-wire. If you see the wire cut off there, just don't worry about it. That's what we do here in-house, because you only need 2 wires for the daytime running light. So it's not that there's some kind of defect. So on these, once you've removed your headlights and your parking lights, you want to take the included grease. You can see we've already done it here, but just fill that cavity with grease and take that 3-wire plug and match it up to your factory socket. And you want to make sure that the black wire of our plug goes to the black wire of your factory plug. So when you plug that in, you should feel it kind of give a little click, so you know that it's in place. And then same thing for the daytime running light. Now, if your socket looks like this one, you can see there's a little bit of rust and corrosion in there. Get like a small screwdriver or something like that and clean that off. Again, you want nice clean bare metal for these things to make contact to, otherwise it'll give you some issues and maybe the bar won't work correctly or something like that. But you want to make sure that the contacts inside your factory sockets are nice and clean. Once they are, again, fill it with grease. Make sure that you've got black to black and click that guy in place. Then the other side is the same process, except you've only got one to do this time. Again, 3-wire to 3-wire, black to black, click it in place. Now for all three of those, you'll take your factory turn signal bulbs, whether you're running the factory incandescent bulbs or if you've got LEDs. Now's a great time if you want to grab some of our 3157 switchback LEDs, make a great fit in here and match perfectly to the grill bar. Those will fit right in. You can run whatever type of bulb you want. Because you have this resistor, you can run an LED or something like that, and the truck won't care. These resistors, if you recall, we had the self-drilling Phillips head screws, and you can see we've already got one mounted here. These resistors won't get very hot because they only have power when you hit your turn signal. So it's okay to screw them directly to this plastic frame that holds your lights. You can just screw it straight to that guy, and then it's kind of up out of the way. Or if you want to use some zip ties or something like that and just kind of zip tie it, that's fine too. But however you want to secure these resistors, just mount those up somewhere so they're out of the way and not banging around on something. And as I said, you put your bulbs back in here, and then those go back into whatever parking light assemblies you're running. In the middle, these two plugs should already be plugged into the grill bar, whichever bar you have. It'll be the white and black wired plug is what provides power. And that should go to the plug on the bar that has a red and black wire, so it'd be red to white and black to black. The two with yellow on either side, those are for your turn signal. Now if you install this, once you've installed it, hop in the truck, turn it on, test everything, and hit your turn signals one at a time, and make sure that the left turn signal activates the left bar and right to right. If it doesn't, the easiest fix is to unplug this wire with the yellow plugs, flip it over, and plug it back in, and that will switch them around. If you're worried about it shaking loose, you can just take a zip tie and zip tie that guy together so it doesn't fall loose. So next we'll look at the Showbar. A quick note, if you order the animated startup bar with white turn signal function, it's going to look a little bit different. It's going to have these two resistors coming off of the plug for the bar. That's what enables it to be both a white running light and a white turn signal. Again, these aren't ever going to get very hot, so just zip tie them up. We'll throw some zip ties in there. You can actually zip tie them on the back of the bar, like right there, something like that, just wherever they're going to be out of the way. On the Showbar, if you order the Showbar, it has a white running light feature, sequential turn signals. It has about 200 different animations that it'll do. We are actually going to be releasing one soon that not only does all that, but also has an animated startup feature. So that's something to look forward to coming here pretty soon. The harness on it is, if you've watched the whole video, it's a combination of the white only bar and the animated startup bars. So what you've got is basically 3 sections of wiring. You've got the power section, you've got the passenger side section, and the driver side section. The power is exactly that. It's a fuse tap and a ground. This one has enough wire that you can run this ground to a battery ground, you can run it to an engine ground, or you can run it to where we did with the white only on that A-frame support piece in front of the grill. The fuse tap is going to go in the same place in that IGNE 10 amp fuse that was in your underhood fuse box, and that will make the bar come on anytime you turn the key on. If you want to have this bar where you turn it on and off with the app that comes with it, you can do that. You would just find a fuse that has battery power all the time and plug this guy in there. Same thing, don't forget to put the factory fuse in the lower slot so that your factory function works as well. On the passenger side and driver's side, that works the same as the animated startup and the switchback bars. It's going to have a plug with a resistor for the passenger side. Again, 3-wire plug, match black to black, fill the sockets with grease. Same thing on the driver's side. You've got 2 plugs, one that's a 2-wire to go to the running light, and a 3-wire that goes to your factory turn signal. The only difference you'll notice here is that there is this extra plug with the label DRL. What this does is this is what will turn on the white function on the grill. And that will override any of the color changing functions that the bar is doing. So if you want it to be able to be changing colors or be a specific color other than white while you're driving the truck, you need to just unplug this little barrel connector. And you can just leave it unplugged like that, won't hurt a thing. And that will allow it to be whatever color you want while the key is on. If you want it to be automatically white when you turn the key on, just do that. And then when you turn the truck off, you can, if you've got this fuse run to a battery powered fuse, you're sitting in the parking lot or something with your buddies, you can turn it on and make it change whatever colors you want. So that's the only real difference between the Showbar and all the others is, as I said, it's sort of a combination of the two. But get those things plugged in correctly. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help you here at Sparksmith. Always happy to provide technical support. We've got a full 3-year warranty on these things, and we stand behind our products. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching.